Hello, ladies, fish, and gentlemen. Welcome in. I'm Mr. Foster, your host. Joining me today are Bumpkins and Munkins. Today, I'd like to give you a brief tutorial on how to read your ancient history and what order to go in. First of all, get yourself a Holy Bible. There's no might or power except for Almighty God. All wisdom comes from the Lord. Read this back to front. It's kind of like your operating system. You wouldn't run a computer with no operating system, right? Then start to read that again. And then stop after a couple of paragraphs and get yourself familiar with Sumerian myth. Shame on me, I don't really have a lot of it. I do have Gilgamesh here, and I do have some Ugaritic text here. Look closely at this book. This is a really crappy translation, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. Then get yourself a book of Adam and Eve. All right. Get yourself books of Enoch, book of Yasher, book of Jubilees, Little Genesis, Apocalypse of Moses, several names. Okay. Check out the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs. Get yourself some complete Apocrypha there. Now, if you have a Catholic Bible, you're going to have some of those stories, but that also has a little bit of extra on those. For instance, there's more on Esther and a couple more Maccabees. Dead Sea Scrolls, pretty much the same thing. Okay. Nicodemus and Pilate. Book of Acts of Paul and Thecla. Okay, this next one I'm a little bit hesitant to stick it in there, but this is the Essenes, what they call Gnostic Bible, I guess. Nag Hammadi finds. Interesting stuff, especially if you're a hardcore into Christian mysticism. That'll be for you. Josephus. This will put everything in a historical context for you. Then if you want to get really kooky, check out guys like Zechariah Sitchin. Okay. Now, once you've done all that, you should have yourself a nice solid base of smarts. You'll understand the timeline of life, why we're all here, how we came to be, and what we're supposed to be doing. For instance, you're not going to understand a lot of the early Genesis writings unless you are very familiar with Sumerian myth. Then those stories will make a whole lot more sense to you, especially phrases like, "Let us make man in our image." You'll then understand why it says we created male and female, and then it starts to talk about Adam being born. Sons of the gods, Genesis 6, taking earth women for wives. You'll understand that the sons of the gods are these Anunnaki fellows from your Sumerian myth, more specifically the Agigi. A lot of people nowadays try to tell you that it was fallen angels who did this. I really don't think that is the case. I think these were real people from a real planet. I have a hard time believing that angels would actually do something so dastardly. Christ himself says in heaven we are not married, right? We are not given in marriage. So why would angels come down and try to take wives? Makes sense? Okay. That's my opinion. Once again, people, Holy Bible, books of Adam and Eve, books of Enoch, book of Yasher, book of Jubilees, Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, complete Apocrypha, Dead Sea Scrolls, Nicodemus and Pilate, Thecla and Paul, Essenes, Josephus, perhaps Gilgamesh or other Sumerian writings. And the Ball Cycle, once again, shit book. And then maybe try some other things, Zechariah Sitchin, plenty of other authors that do books on giants and Sumerian myth and how they feel, how the planet really came about. You don't have to believe everything. I'm just giving you my opinion on the best ones. I personally like Zechariah Sitchin's books. I don't believe everything he says. And there's a lot of folks out there who consider him a complete moron. But make up your own mind. Once you've gone through everything I've suggested in the order I've suggested, I'm fairly confident that people like Zechariah Sitchin will be a little bit smart to you. You know, I personally lean towards the ancient alien ways instead of trans-dimensional angels doing it. A lot of the people that think fallen angels actually did this are flat earthers also. Nothing wrong with that. We all have to have our own opinion. Hopefully you have a solid one after you've taken my suggestions. Number one, if you don't believe this, you're not going to believe much of anything, and you're going to have no base and no faith, and you will never be smart, in my opinion. I'd like to thank you for your time. I hope this has been informative and useful to you, especially you beginners out there who are just inundated with opinion and you might not know where to start. I hope this was helpful to you, especially. And I'd like to thank you for joining me today. And in the next videos, we'll concentrate on the next wave of writings, Greek myth, Mahabharata, things like that. And in the meantime, I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll be seeing you. Bye-bye.